So welcome everybody, my name is Tina Nypelö. We are in this EPNOE webinar that is being organized monthly. And today we have a special program regarding career boost for young researchers. And this event is actually coming live from a training school of Aerogels for biomedical applications that's taking place in KU Leuven. And it's being organized in collaboration with Cost Association, CESAER Association, and the KU Leuven Career Center. And we're gonna go forward with the webinar, and I'm gonna hand over to the moderator of this session, who is Professor Pasquale del Gaudio. He is a professor in pharmaceutical technology in the University of Salerno and will be taking care of us within this session today. And other than taking care of us here, his areas of interest in research are in controlled drug release and delivery, bioactive materials, wound healing, tissue regeneration. So go ahead, Pasquale.
Thank you very much. And welcome to this roundtable we will have today. We'll have 4 speakers, 2 in presence that are with me here, and other 2 remotely that will give their presentation from by Zoom directly. So allow me now to call people that are here please to my side. So, and we will have Mattias Björnmalm, we will have Julian Salinger, Nicole Wedell-von Leupoldt, I hope the surname is come close, and Carlos García-González. So if you could join me here, and we will have the others remotely. So we'll start now with Mattias. It seems that you are the first in line, so it's up to you. Mattias is has a PhD, and he is an experienced scientist. He works as Deputy Secretary General of CESAER, and he also has an invited member of the World Economic Forum Expert Network, and he has he is in the Marie Curie Alumni Association. Today, he will give us his expertise. He will have his expertise with us today, and he will talk about what he does actually in CESAER, and probably also spreading as much as possible the career of young researchers.
So, welcome and thank you for the invitation to come here from me as well. My name is indeed Mattias Björnmalm. I'm from Sweden originally. Spent a few years in different places overseas, and now I work for CESAER, which is actually here on campus a few hundred meters that way, for those of you in the room, and that way for those of you online. The CESAER started 30 years ago as a rector's club and of universities of science and technology, with KU Leuven being one of the founding members, and have since then expanded beyond that. It still works very closely with university leadership, but we're also engaging more with researchers and especially early career researchers. So here today, I'll try to connect a little bit what we do when we work with the university leadership, also back to the operational level, or those especially early career researchers. And myself, I was first a bachelor, then master, then PhD, and then a postdoc. So I had around 10 years of research experience as well before moving into my current. So it's close to my heart what early career researchers do and how we can boost the early career researcher and their quiz. Yes, a little bit about me here. I will share the slides. The link was already shared with the organizer, so if they have the link, feel free to share it on the Zoom already. Otherwise, you will all hopefully get it afterwards. I realize that some of you are working with biomaterials, hydrogels, nanomaterials, etc. So you may even know the people I used to work with. So Frank in Melbourne and Molly in London. So just added that there in case any of you have come across their work or have worked with them in the past. The association, as you can see here, we're over 50 universities of science and technology, Leuven being one of the members across all of Europe and beyond. And our members together have over 1 million students and over or almost 100,000 academic staff. And this together creates quite a big momentum on the European level. So for me, here's just the logos of all the members. A big part of my work is engaging with the EU institutions. And the association is structured around this concept you can see here. So we're about learning from each other, inspiring each other, and advocacy. And the advocacy part is probably the biggest part of what I do. And a lot of it is together with the EU institutions, so European Commission, Council of the EU, European Parliament, but also working with our members when they engage on the national level. So that's from a university leadership perspective. It might be quite clear why they want to make sure that there are good funding levels, there are good structures, good laws, good rules, regulations that help them do their job for institutional level. But how can we connect this down to early career and mid-career researchers? This is just, there are more slides as well that are being shared. I'm gonna go through some of these, but you may be interested in some of the extra details here. The aims we have are these 5, and I'll hone in on the first one, which is most part of my work, which is around advocating the interests of our members and our members being universities. And there, one example you can see is on key technologies, which is of course importance to universities of science and technology. So how do we on a societal level engage with things like artificial intelligence, quantum technologies, biotechnologies, etc., that we know will have a fundamental and are already starting to have a fundamental impact on how our societies work. We can think that this is a room of scientists or early and mid and late stage scientists, so I don't really need to have this full speech. But of course, these type of technologies, we think in terms of the introduction of vaccines, the introduction of internal combustion engines or computer, which fundamentally changed how our societies work. And we're now seeing how similar is upcoming, and this is the expectation of many of technologies today. So instead of running behind the facts there, we want to help shape these developments together with societal actors, be it policymakers, decision makers, but also societal interest groups, NGOs, cultural institutions, so broader society in that way. So we as an association help provide an interface there. A big part of what is high on the agenda now, and let me read what Rick is saying here, this is the president of CESAER and the rector of Ghent University. A culture change is needed within universities. As a community, we have been seduced by simple but stifling interpretations of what an excellent researcher is and what they should do. This has been driven largely by assessment and reward structures that put undue focus on narrow, simple to measure indicators and criteria. And I'm guessing all of you are familiar with the H-index, impact factor, and all of these that exist. Action is overdue and it must happen at several levels, is how Rick finishes the quote here. Partly as a response or as part of a bigger culture, the European Commission launched this group on a European coalition on reforming research assessment. And our association, and actually myself, are part of the core group of trying to guide this effort. And now perhaps we're starting to see a direct connection to hopefully you in the room here and your colleagues to see how can we as Europeans and as scientists and science community in the world help guide this so that our researchers are empowered to pursue the best research in the best way possible and are not forced into or pigeonholed into pursuing what we call stifling interpretations of indicators, etc. So we have the external facing part. So what the Commission, the member states, Belgium, France, Germany, Sweden, etc., what they should do. And here in Belgium, of course, it's the region, so the Flemish region and the French region as well. What they should do when they assess how they handle money. But we have also the internal facing part. How should universities act in this space? And it goes all the way up from the rector, so Luc Zels here, or Rick van der Walle in Ghent University, through the structure, the deans, the professors, early career researchers, and students, how do we assess what is an excellent researcher and what they do? And how do we promote, so recruit, but also promote previously recruited people in good ways? And this was a white paper we published, I think, 2 years ago now, led by Technion in Israel, which is a big institution of science and technology as well, with concrete recommendations for universities internally facing how can you boost the careers of early stage researchers, but also including some external facing information. So this is my last slide here. I was thinking what could be some takeaway messages that I could share. One is that Europe is important for research and innovation. And if you're interested in the longer cultural and historical context and how it immediately connects to researchers today, I strongly recommend this link here on the speech by our president to the Doctoral Congress, which was last year, I think, where he traces how this has happened since basically the Second World War. The second point is boosting careers of young researchers is high on the political agenda and also on the non-political agenda, of course. For us as researchers or as university community, it remains high and has been high, but it is now a unique opportunity where we have especially the EU institutions on our side to try to push change where there are barriers that exist for change. So you have the preceding slides there. And my key message here would be that you can make a difference. And I really invite all of you to consider how you, as a researcher, but also as an advocate, be it if you continue doing research and go full on research or academic research, if you move out of academia, or if you do are interested in the type of career path that I chose to move from full-time academic career into doing advocacy work. So there are a range of different options there. I elaborate in a short article there, which is also linked on how we can make a difference with some reflections from my side. And I really invite you to engage on this with your peers around you. A simple thing is to, if you hear someone say the first question, and this is how I used to do myself, when I heard that someone has published a paper, my first paper question was rarely, oh, what was it about or what was the key finding? It was often, where was it published? Putting, what do I value more than the other? And it's, if we as a community going from all the way from researchers in the lab to university leadership and beyond, challenge our thinking and think about how do we think about research culture, and how do we promote what is good in our community, I think then we can really push for change. And there is big momentum right now, national level, European level, and beyond. I don't know how long I've been going, but thank you very much for the opportunity to address you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mattias, for your point of view. Now we move to our second speaker. This is Julian Salinger from the EPNOE Junior. I think he's connected by perfect. Julian is a member and chair of the EPNOE Junior Group. And today, after Mattias, he will give his view of how it is possible for a young researcher to boost his career and to interact with the community. So please go on. It's working. Yeah, okay. So the stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Pasquale. Yes, as said, I will give a bit different input, more from the junior scientist perspective after I'm on my own still doing my PhD. And I will show you some challenges, needs, and opportunities what we within the EPNOE Junior Group developed or are currently in the stage of developing. So, but first, quick about EPNOE. So EPNOE is the European Polymer Network of Excellence, and it basically unites different fields with industry, academia, research institutions, and individual members working on different fields such as food, chemistry, materials. But what unites them is the polysaccharide. So basically, EPNOE is the international polysaccharide community with 41 institutions, 11 industrial members from 20 different countries, and they are quickly summarized in here. And now we actually want to talk about junior scientists and junior scientists' needs. And here I would like to say first that junior scientists basically we define in the following as researchers 7 years after their PhD. And in EPNOE, junior scientists are junior scientists through their member institution, meaning when the institution is member and you work for the institution, you're automatically member. And every member institution can have up to 2 junior representatives. And to put this more in a pyramid, how it actually works, so we have basically the junior scientists build the base. They are junior scientists from a member institution and have either 1 or 2 junior representatives from the institution. And the junior working group where I'm part of is basically the partner for the junior representatives and also for the junior scientists. And the junior working group gets appointed by the EPNOE executive board. So, and this was done 1.5 years ago, in about where we were asked if we can develop some strategies, and that is me, Julian, Carmen, Martin, and Union. And at first, we were thinking, okay, what to do and how to actually improve the junior scientist situation. So we got our heads together, we're thinking quite a lot how to do it, what can we do, and then we came up with some ideas. And we said, okay, let's make some vision for ourselves and for junior scientists within EPNOE, where actually do we want to go? And therefore we said, okay, our vision is to establish a consistent network via EPNOE within junior scientists and also senior scientists. And a consistent network you basically just can build on when someone really likes to go there, feels home, and sees this as part of his family or like family. And also when you feel helped, that you know, okay, you don't just give, you also can get something out from there. And therefore we also said, okay, one of the aims should also be that junior representatives should be the first address for junior scientists when they have some questions for network opportunities and collaborations with other institutions. So, and all this basically should help to establish, again, an active and powerful junior network, which keeps itself alive. So this was our vision. We then also basically developed some aims out of this. So we want to strengthen the intra and inter-institutional network, so that the network between institutions and within the institutions, because also we realized, okay, that there is, for example, one university has different working groups working on polysaccharide fields, but they basically don't talk to each other. So this is also one thing where we said, okay, actually junior scientists especially can very much profit from this, because sometimes specific devices or knowledge is so far, so close, but you think it's so far away because basically you read a paper from someone and then you realize, okay, that's actually the guy next door. So this is also one thing we said, we saw this is worth forcing. And yes, of course, the cooperation between the junior researchers and the institutions. And therefore it's also important to overcome certain hurdles of hierarchies. We also realized that sometimes it's just hard to some junior researchers have sometimes a bit fear contacting the senior researchers, professors, and so we have to overcome also those hierarchies. And yes, now I said some things, but at the end, did it answer the question? So what to do and how to improve the junior situation? No, it didn't at all. And therefore, so basically this was very theoretical now, what we decided first. And so we said, okay, actually we want to go closer to the junior scientists and basically get to know what they really want. And then individually decide out of that what actions we as junior group within EPNOE can set. And this we did with more phase data acquisition, meaning basically we carried out surveys, and we also had direct discussions. So we kind of forced the discussion with junior scientists. And so the first step was a broad survey where we just contacted our junior representatives and asked for some feedback. And this had two aims. First, for internal feedback, that we know which way we really should go and are we on the right track, because we didn't know this to that time. And what further are the challenges and needs for the junior community. And this is actually what I would like to now go a bit more in detail later on. And further then we said, okay, now we have the input from junior scientists. So we also basically need from the junior representatives. So we actually also need input from junior scientists. And this is via surveys. This is like multiple choice. You have some options, but no open answers. That's why we also had a very broad discussion with a lot of active and really good junior scientists, which brought a lot of input, and which also brought us very much in the way what we as EPNOE junior group or as EPNOE network, junior network, can do to improve the junior scientist situation. And this all will then be followed with step number 3, with another survey, where we want to address a lot of junior scientists, so way more. And after this, we will set some action points to change something according to the surveys we conducted. And then after 1 year, we would like to evaluate all those things. And now I would like to summarize the main points, what junior representatives from the survey and also junior scientists within the discussion said that this is very important for them. So one thing was that actually online events, even though I guess most of you think, are we already tired of online events? But some of the idea also really convenient to get in touch with the community. And there additionally thought that it's also good to get more input from junior scientists, either that you see what do other juniors actually do, and also that they can present on their own. So this was also one thing what was very desirable. The next one is also that there is some online tool how to find more easy partners when they're stuck in their research or they need some certain devices, and also where they can more easily overcome some hierarchies to contact someone in order to make research exchanges. And yes, I already got the point. So flat hierarchies basically also help to get better in touch with each other. And there is in EPNOE on my personal perspective. So I'm not talking now for EPNOE, but like me as person, I think EPNOE is very good, having very flat hierarchies, and people are very easygoing, and that you feel very much welcome. Yes, and then point number 2 is then that basically EPNOE is every 2 years EPNOE conference, and also every 2 years EPNOE junior conference, and also juniors wanted to have more junior specific meetings on those EPNOE conferences. Then the next point was that they would like us junior representatives and junior group to assist more in finding student exchange partners, collaborations, and summer schools are highly desired. After we conducted all this research, basically realized that EPNOE already offers a lot of things, and we now are in about the process to target them more for junior scientists. For example, EPNOE offers those webinars also with junior research presentations, and we thought also it would be nice to have just for junior scientists some own webinars where they, for example, learn about some validation methods or whatever. This is still under construction. Then for the EPNOE conferences, EPNOE offers a lot of networking possibilities, and there's also EPNOE newsletter with jobs, for example, for researchers, and also the website and the member area for members. And this is actually one point what can really improve a lot of the points what junior scientists desire. And for example, EPNOE has this member area where I brought two examples now. One is the toolbox, that when you think, okay, I need a certain device and I don't really know where to get it, you basically can go in this toolbox and then check on which partner university, partner institution this device is, and you can directly contact the responsible person and ask for some research exchange. And another thing is what we realized, sometimes it's not so easy to get in touch to professors, and sometimes junior scientists have some questions where they are a bit unsure. So there is also this, we established this Monday on the member area. So basically you can ask there a question and help ask the community to help you with your question. So yes, basically I think the 12 minutes are over soon. So I would like to conclude this with some challenges, needs and opportunities, and I brought this down to 4 points to also set the discussion and later. So network and exchange possibilities are of very high importance for young researchers within the EPNOE field. Then a flat hierarchies let one feel home and also enforce cooperations. And then the right support and infrastructure is, and also network helps to make your wishes come true. And always improvement is an ongoing process. This is what we are currently in. Always develop new ideas and reinvent ourselves. So with this, I would like to end, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Julian. Sure, some of the points you just highlighted will be part of discussion later. So now it's time for our third speaker. And Nicole Wedell-von Leupoldt. Okay. Maybe a bit better than before. No, joking. Well, Nicole is okay. Perfect. So Nicole is focused on career development, both of national international students. She's a career advisor at the business school in Belgium for MBA students. And she's also co-founder of Talent Interlock, that is an initiative to support international talents in Belgium, giving training for career development and coaching. And from 2020, she's a liaison expert labor market or EKU Leuven. So please, the stage is yours.
Thank you. I will be starting in a second, I think. After 2 years of online working, we're trying hybrid. Oh, going on crazy. Well, anyways, thank you for having me. I'm actually here. I was invited by Pedro, speaking a bit about the Career Center at KU Leuven for young researchers. So that's what I'm going to do in the next couple of minutes. But I have 2 tips of the day, because it's about boost a young researcher's career. So for all you sitting here, you probably know the Eureka Career Center. For you out there, new information. At the Career Center, we really try to support young researchers in making conscious career decisions. At the end of the day, it's you all who makes the career decisions, any decision really, and we can help you, we can support you. And I know Martin has been to a couple of initiatives, so you should know what we are doing. And we do that by many different kind of things. And I have one slide kind of to cluster. And well, you don't see the QR code, but online you see the QR code probably. Well, what you see on this slide is all the initiatives, or most of the initiatives that we are doing. And the 3 on the top, the online career tour, the workshops, and the career coaching, that's really kind of our structured working. So for any researcher we have, or they can use an online tool that really helps you focus on your competencies, on your interests. It's an external tool, but it was developed with Leuven researchers, really. And it will prompt you as results, as I said, your main key competencies, interests, but it will also prompt you jobs that the algorithm relates to the results of what you've been answering in that tool. And for some, that is plenty of information. For some, it's just right as a kickstart to have like on one page, key competence, key interest, work environment, and move on from there. So should a young researcher want to go further in support, we do offer a couple of workshops, which you see on second point here. Starting with discover your career profile. It's really taking the results from the online tool in a workshop, get feedback from peers. So now in our understanding, you know what you bring. So next step would be assess the options out there. So there's a workshop on clustering the labor market and yeah, to then start reaching out to the different clusters of the labor market. The next one is, we call it brand your career profile. It's really CV writing, motivation letter writing, LinkedIn, but not only LinkedIn writing, but how to use LinkedIn, networking. And we have the job interview, and we also offer career in academia to really give you a better framework maybe on what a further career in academia could mean, where we invite postdocs and professors, share their career stories, and we'll put together an action plan really to see if a career in academia is the right thing. So most of the people are good to go from here. If you would still like to have some more sounding board, our Leuven PhDs and postdocs are invited and eligible to 6 hours of individual coaching after that. So for all of you here in the room, you may do that. For all of you not here in the room, we do have a couple of initiatives that are available online pretty much for anyone. And those are the ones you see down below, where we say career events, and sounding boards. And career events, those bits and pieces in between, while we are having the structured kind of working here, are career fairs, for example, which we organize. We call it inter-university, but it's very much organized by the 5 Flemish universities together, so bigger career fairs. Or we call it career talks. It's testimonials of people who have a PhD and are now working not at the university, and they will share their trajectory and how they did their transition and what are they doing today. We have the expert talks also, not a PhD background, but still sharing their ID on the labor market. And those are all on our website. And if you see the QR code, that's just the link to our website. And for those not in the room, you may just see the recordings because everything happened online, obviously. So we have many recordings. And there's an expert talk, for example, on negotiations. And then next to that, like extra legal benefits and contracts, what is it actually that you can negotiate about? Or a panel discussion amongst recruiters, or someone clustering the labor market. So feel free to have a look here. We are also organizing at the moment, it's called Interactive Career Day with the pharmaceutical company, a big one in Belgium, where it's very intense, but the researchers get to pitch actually their research, their ideas in front of a jury of that company. You're smiling. Have you taken part in the past?
No, I don't. I report. No.
Yeah. Okay. Communication is coming out Monday or so. But yeah, you're pitching basically your research always with your supervisor or PI or senior academic host signing, of course, that you are not pitching the wrong things that you're not supposed to just give away. For the company, it's interesting 2 ways. It's the talent acquisition, really, as potential employees, but also seeing if there's potential collaborations in the pipeline. So it can be very interesting. Those are things we are organizing. individual development plan, it's a tool where you're actually invited to use that tool to do very structured communication with your supervisors, to also take a look at your career. Again, to make conscious career decisions, but make it easier, or that's the idea behind it, to bring your questions onto the table and discuss that with your supervisors, and a few mentorship programs. So that's what we do in the Career Center here. I've already mentioned that between the 5 Flemish universities, we are actually putting quite some efforts together in approaching the labor market in the name of the PhD talent. So this is one of the platforms we've created, really. It's kind of a career platform where you find vacancies, but more information, where you find companies that are PhD friendly in the sense that they know, they're aware of the talent with someone with a PhD. So you can browse around and check out the companies on there, and you are invited to open an account and drop your CV there if you want. But this is bigger than only Leuven. This is really on a Flemish level, and so there we go. And I promised I bring you 2 tips of the day. Well, it's a fairly recent study. It was only published end of last year, Doc and Hans, you probably know about that, where they compare skills that were acquired at completion of the PhD and the relevance of those skills in the job now. So the 2 graphs I brought, to the left, you see someone now working in a research organization. Doesn't matter what kind of research background they had. To the right, you see people working in the private sector. And you see the dark blue line is the level of the skill they had at doctorate completion. And the light blue line is the importance of the skill now on the job. And what we very often see, to the top left, you probably won't see my pointer online. Project management. There is always a peak that is more relevant than actually being capable of doing after doctorate completion. Well, we also often see effective communication, self-branding, negotiation. There's often a lack in what someone just graduating brings to how relevant that is. Now, you see there are some differences. So my tip is obviously be aware of those and skill up soon enough. But the good news, I brought one more, and I'm sorry you can't see parts of it. This is someone with a background in engineering and technology. Thank you. Thanks. So it doesn't matter where they are now, but it's more about where they are coming from. And here you see the 2 lines, the dark blue and the light blue lines, very much in line, which is actually good news. So someone with a background engineering technology comes very close to what is needed on the work floor. So 1. And then I brought a second one. What we learn or hear or realize very often when it comes to external labor market, it's a matter of communication. It's a matter of translating the things that you're bringing. If you're not going to a research institute and working there on your specific topic of research, very likely you're not being hired because of the research topic, but because of you as the whole person, all the different skills, all the different things you're bringing. So a recruiter or a company or business is looking for different terms. And here I've just compared a few. So when you usually as a researcher, and your inherent values would be your interests, your publications are important, your teaching, your citations, giving lectures, and the I thinking. It sounds not quite tangible to a recruiter probably. So a recruiter will be probably looking for the skills, the projects, maybe could translate teaching to instruction design, or citations translate to return on investment, or lectures translate to consultations, or the we thinking. So this is, I mean, in a minute, and I could go on with that, I guess, in 3 workshops or so. But it's really take your time when you're going out to speak to potential employers and try to speak their lingo. And that's actually my last slide, the 2 tips of the day. Be aware of the missing skills and skill up, and learn to speak the business lingo. And I guess, I don't know, I did kill time. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole. Now we have our 4th speaker for today. He's online. Is Carlos García-González. Okay, perfect. So Carlos, well, he got his PhD at Catalonia. Then he moved for his postdoctoral fellow at Hamburg University, Technical University. And after that, he was a contracted engineer here in Belgium. Well, after that, he moved to the University of Santiago de Compostela, where now he is an assistant professor, where he's involved in several R&D projects, and he's also the coordinator, and well, I prefer sometimes to call him chair of the post-action Aerogels. So, Carlos, I think the stage is yours.
Hello, Pasquale. Hello, everyone. Okay, so as said by Pasquale, I'm Carlos Garcia, and I have been requested by the Cost Association to prepare a talk on their behalf on the topic of what is a Cost Association and what can a Cost Association do to boost the research career of young researchers, standing for PhD students and early postdocs. So next, please. So the Cost Association stands for European Cooperation in Science and Technology, and it has the headquarters in Brussels and is funded by the European Union programs. The target of this association is to enable researchers and innovators to make their ideas grow and also their research career. So this kind of way of improving the career is through what they are called cost actions. These actions are mainly networks that are on any field in science and technology. It can be mono or interdisciplinary, although the interdisciplinarity is highly promoted by the Cost Association. Sorry, actually you will see this is a strategic pillar of this institution. All partners can be involved, not only academia, not only public organization institutions, but also industry, NGOs, and international organizations. This is actually promoted. Since we want to have ideas and research careers growing, Cost Association is following a bottom-up approach, and this promotion is at all career stages. So as you see in the slide, young and experienced researchers can be involved and would have a feedback and improvement because of belonging to cost actions. And this is also something not only European, but international. We have 40 countries, 40 cost members, mainly from Europe, plus 1 cooperation member, which is South Africa. We have 14 near neighboring countries, so countries near Europe, but also it's possible to collaborate with any country in the world. Next, please. So as said before, the Cost Association has 3 strategic priorities, which are aligned with the ERA, the European Research Area. The first one is to promote and spread excellence. The second one is to foster interdisciplinary research for breakthrough science. And the third one, which is the more related with the roundtable of today, is to empower and retain young researchers. I will go one by one to explain it, the first two briefly and more in extensive way the last one. So next, please. So first, facts and numbers on the cost association. In this moment, we are 292 running actions. They usually last for 4 years, and there are 2 open calls per year, one every semester. So every year there are many cost actions running and many cost actions ending as well. So in all, there are more than 203 training schools for this year. For example, the one that is taking place now in Leuven. The average budget for each cost action is of around 134,000 euros. This amount will depend on the critical mass of the cost action, the number of countries, and also the scope of it. We also have the possibility of funding short-term scientific missions, meaning research stays in different institutions to try to improve skills and also to promote networking and interaction. If we sum all the researchers involved in the running cost actions, we are around 45,000 people, and the overall cost association budget for Horizon Europe framework in the next 3 years is 153 million euros. Next one, please. So as said, one pillar is to promote and spread excellence. You can here see in purple the cost members or cost countries. Then also, as said, this cost partner member, which is South Africa, the cost neighboring countries, and in orange you can see all the other international countries that at least belongs to one running cost action, which I would say is virtually 98% of all the countries in the world. Next, please. So regarding priority 2, as said, interdisciplinary is something to be fostered and promoted by the cost association. And here I like this figure because you can see different domains or different disciplines, and you can see also the interconnections between these disciplines. Of course, there are some of them more predominant. The larger the size of the circle, the more interconnection. So interdisciplinarity is in this domain, but I think overall all disciplines are covered. Next, please. And then we arrive to priority number 3, which is to promote the research career development and finding complementary funding schemes. So this is actually the pathway that the European Union foresees for the development of a research career by young researchers, starting from students up to full professors. In this case, the cost association will focus on from a PhD student level up to a senior scientist or a full professor. So it can kind of complements or supplements the other programs such as Marie or ERC programs from the European Union. Next, please. Next. Yeah, so here you can see from all the members of the cost actions running right now, what is the age of the members. So we can see that overall, the people between 26 and 30 years, so young people are the predominant for in a global perspective, and also for inclusive target countries. And if we sum this region between 21 to 40 years, this is a predominant share of the memberships for cost actions, and it's also the case for our Aerogels cost action. And also, if you have a look at the gender balance, the cost association promotes the gender equity, a gender balance, and I would say it's reasonably well implemented. Next, please. So what tools can cost association provide through their cost actions? So they can organize meetings, workshops, conferences, and grants to attend external conferences. They can also provide support for the organization of training schools, also to undergo this kind of research stays abroad, these short-term scientific missions, also called STSM. Several dissemination activities, so they can cover, for instance, the open access of review articles and many other dissemination activities, also promotional material, etc. And because of the COVID situation, there was this gap where in-person events were very scarce, if any. So there was an issue, a quite recent but useful tool, which are the virtual networking grants, where in a virtual way they can implement tools to facilitate the networking and to to reach the targets of the cost actions. Next, please. So the impact of this cost action in the research career of young researchers and also senior researchers is to get new scientific discoveries, also to be able to, by networking, to develop new research infrastructures, also to learn about the adoption of common standards, and also to apply technologies in the form of different products or services. Overall, there is an excellent feedback on the impact of cost action in the research careers. Virtually in all the cases, this belonging or this participation in cost actions has a high impact in the career advancement of the people involved. And also usually these cost actions are a kind of seed of new projects, new consortium that have a quite good, above the standard success rate in European Union funded proposals. Next, please. Yes, so overall, yes, these benefits in participating in a cost action can be from a scientific point of view, but also from a social point of view for networking, also thinking in the future to get new career opportunities, and also why not to finance your ideas, or at least the research stage or participation in conferences to get new knowledge on the state of the art. Please. Next. Yeah, now. So how to participate in a cost action? You have different options. You can participate. Sorry, as a member in an action already running, that already started. You can also be a proposer of a new cost action, and you can also evaluate this proposal. So these are different ways of participating, and all of them are open to young researchers. Next, please. And I'm saying this in a quite open way because there is a cost excellence and inclusive policy where they say that they will promote 3 topics: the geographical balance of the cost actions, particularly focusing on certain countries where they want to promote this research that at this moment probably is at a lower level than the average in Europe. They also want to promote the age balance. So one indicator is the number of participants in cost actions who are young researchers, but also this indicator is also for action proposers and action chairs. So this is something important. So in this case, definitely to be young is not a handicap, but actually this is an advantage. And also regarding gender balance, so yes, this is something being sought by the cost association to have a very well balance between women and men. Yes, so next please. So just I think I gave an overview. Thank you for your attention. There are several, cost association is very active in several social media, I just let you know the website, which is cod.eu. And yeah, if any question, now I think we have some minutes in the roundtable to clarify any other point. Thank you very much, and I hope that the connection was still more or less okay.
Thank you, Carlos, for your point of view. How will you join us? Okay, so we have seen 4 different points of view. We had different, well, not so different, but different perspectives as career. We had from some association as CESAER, as the EPNOE Junior from the coast, for the university point of view, or for the career center of the university point of view. Well, just to summarize, and then we can open this virtual roundtable. We can still call it like that. I picked up some keywords from your discussions that maybe could be useful to use then maybe with our discussion. So it seems that it is important, well, an action plan, so as preparation and networking, maybe networking using associations as EPNOE, as CESAER, or as other kind of association seems a good idea. It also seems that language in terms of using the proper dictionary is very useful when you want to boost your career. And yeah, as tips that Nicole at the end of her presentation gave us were about skills that must be spotlight when you want to get an interaction with a company or any other possible employers. So it seems that with those we could have, let's say, the recipe of a perfect career boosting, but the ingredients seems quite different from each other. Is there a specific way to put all these ingredients together in your opinion? I mean, is there something more important than others if you look at those keywords? Nicole, yes. We start from here, of course.
I'm a big fan of networking. And if you've been to one of the workshops I'm giving, I speak about networking all the time. I don't know if you know statistics about, it's called the hiring labor market. And I'm always thinking labor market and transition to the next career steps, therefore the boost. The pyramid of the hidden labor market, where it says that only 20% of the jobs that are out there will be on some sort of job boards, and approximately 80% will apply to those 20% of the jobs that are out there. So I often come across researchers saying there is no job for me out there. I don't find them. They're not there. I don't check all the boxes. They are not the perfect matches, and can be very well the case. But the majority of jobs are not on the job boards, and therefore you need to know people. You need to start from yourself and go out there, do the informational interviews, speak with people before you are actually desperately needing a job. Go and speak with people right now, tomorrow. So I'm a big fan of networking, and yes, why not do that in the associations and all the events that are happening? And one thing is listening to a webinar, but the next thing is then pick up all the names of the speakers, reach out to them, and go in communication and see where this is leading, which I want to do with you later. So
networking between associations.
But that's the whole point.
Yeah, but if I can pick up on that, I think the very message I very much second here is the message of empowerment. I think they're looking at ways to boosting for yourself as well. A challenge we've had as a community in the past, not everywhere, but in some different places, is that you get into a scenario because there are challenges on different levels, that you may have the early career researchers saying that the universities should be doing better, and the universities pointing governments should be doing better, and the governments are pointing, but the early career researchers should interact together, and everybody's pointing to someone else. And there is homework to do at all of these levels, but finding ways where you can, as an individual, make a difference for yourself and for the community around you, and exploring that and engaging with the people around you. I think that's very knowing that others have stuff they should do as well, but really taking this as a way to empower individuals to move forward. I think that's that's a empowering and positive way to look at it.
And if I got well, you said this seems the right moment at political level to do.
Right now, yes, on the European level especially.
So maybe that's really time to get together, networking, maybe also consulting an association in order to do as best as possible.
Yeah, on the different levels, because of course, if you're an individual looking for in a year or two, I will move in my career trajectory or do something, then what the European institutions is deciding is perhaps not of immediate relevance to you, but in the community you're part of, it will have impact, right? So, yes, it's a short answer to your question.
In your opinion, the first step, the very first step that a young researcher that is, let's say, close to and his PhD should do in order to get an interaction with a company or with a university to get a job, to get a position? The very first one.
A very good question.
Oh, yeah. Luckily, I not have to
The very first step, I always say start with yourself and not start with your PhD as such. If you start looking with typing in your PhD anywhere, probably not going to find much. Start with yourself, what's relevant for yourself. So first step would be use a tool or do it for yourself. Take some time, sit down, write down, this is what I'm good at, this is what I want, this is what I need. Start with putting down your thoughts on a piece of paper or in an online tool, but on a piece of paper and knowing what you bring to the table. I think that's the very first step when it comes to networking, when it comes to looking for jobs, when it comes to speaking to your supervisor, when it comes to speaking to your peers, maybe they know other people you should speak to. I'm a big fan of the informational interviews, going out and speak to people, not asking for jobs, but asking for their experience. So take a moment and focus on yourself and bring that together. That's
to build somehow an image that you want to deliver.
Yeah.
So,
yes. And you can do that if you are the creative person on, I don't know, on a blackboard, on a flip chart with post-its with a lot of color, or you use an online tool, or I don't know, program something. If you're a programmer, doesn't matter how, but the point is try to get the essence of what you bring. So at least you know it, so you can then start communicating.
Mattias, your opinion?
Just adding to that, I think you're never alone in this process and finding the people and peers around you. And for those of you who may not know that there is a very active community around boosting early career researchers in Europe, there's a range of organizations, Eurodoc, Young Academy of Europe, Marie Curie Alumni Association, all of them are European associations, and then many national, domestic level. So we have Belgian organization, German, French, all over Europe, or transnational or regional. There are so many of them, and there are people like hopefully many of you who are very passionate about this topic, and you can find them around you, hopefully in your own maybe department, institution, university, same city. Find someone local to you and engage on these topics. That would be my first. But I'm coming from it as an advocate wanting to change stuff. If you're coming from it, I want to get a good job. Yeah. You can use the same technique, but maybe not look for the people wanting to change the system, but look for people interested in connections between university or pharma or whatever you're interested in.
That would be, let's say, the second step after the internal. Any other comment or question from the audience or from people online?
So my question is, I didn't know CESAER organization. My question is, how does an organization that was initially created around the rectors and the leadership of the university actually does the transition and actually can reach out to the young researchers that are there?
No, it's a good question, and my job for the organization still is a very strong focus on university leadership. But even though some universities are really good at this, others may not be as good at that topic. But I can assure you, all the university leaders that I talk to, they're very interested to think about how can I help the early career researchers in my university. So for them, it's a clear connection. So my job is rarely about setting, like we have the Coast Association, others who, or those who do doctoral schools or so. That's not really what CESAER do. We do more of the advocacy, sharing experience, learning, recommendations, that type of work. But my background personally is from as a researcher and then Marie Curie Alumni Association. So I've worked in this space personally and with these type of topics for many years. So I'm very happy to come to events like this, to engage directly with early stage researchers and so, because it's dear to my heart as well. And I know that to the leadership of my association, they like these connections because it helps keep us on our toes. Are we doing things that are relevant and useful for our early stage communities? So I hope that provides a little bit of answer.
Yeah, absolutely. So the universities somehow are kind of responsible to connections with their direct young researchers. And
I feel kind of like the boots on the ground for the organization, like not me personally, really, but what we are doing at the university. And yet we again try to work together with the 5 Flemish universities, but we read your papers and and it's the same kind of people who are in the Flemish university group in the FLIR that are the rectors working in your group. So therefore, I think it does need that boots on the ground. Yeah.
Ramification, local ramification. Okay, thank you.
Maybe the message is really that we try to network as much as possible through association and to other people that you already know, and with that probably it's easier to match the job or to match the opportunity, if not of the life at the moment. Any other comments or questions? If no, then I think our time is gone. It's a great pleasure for me to meet you both of you and to have the opportunity to moderate this session. So I would like to thank Mattias, Julian from remotely, Nicole and Carlos, it is also not in person here. Thank you very much for your experience and your